Hello there, this is Three of Spades. I am back, and we're going to play Rebellion. Not Rebellion, Rebellion. There we go. So this one was designed by a friend of theirs, a friend of the Black Monkeys, apparently. And obviously, since it's Rebellion, we gotta go as the Rebels, so. I'm going to add the bots, and we're going to play. I haven't explored this one too much, just did some preliminary kind of nosing around, and like that was it. Alright, here we go. If I had to take a guess, this is probably, I don't know, Yavin or something? This might also be Tatooine. I got no clue. Some forest planet for sure. So maybe it's a forest, but then there's, oh. Are we, I think it froze on me. Oh shit, the FBI's onto me. They didn't like the piracy talk I was doing. Oh boy. Sorry, sir, you're running a pirated copy of Call of Duty. You're not allowed to do that. Alright, well, fucking hell. We're off to a great start. If you excuse me, let me just restart the fucking video game and hope it works this time. I guess since the Rebel Scum decided to crash my game, I'm going as the Empire now. Real nice. So anyway, saying in the last part, it's not. I would prefer not to pirate my shit. But I would prefer that when I buy something, it's mine, and I get, treated like I'm an owner of it, instead of being treated like a criminal for doing a good thing, or what I'm told is a good thing, because they have money and they can tell me it's a good thing. I kind of make that determination for myself when you say death to America, all hail Mexico. You support these people who want to kill innocent civilians, set churches on fire, kill children. I think those are war crimes, and I don't at all agree with this, so I'm going to stop buying these games until you sort your shit out. Because this has officially weirded me out. I didn't think Call of Duty at all would be going out of their way to say how they support these groups of people who want to kill. They support the actions of terrorists or something, because it's a game about, hey, war is bad, don't kill each other, don't fight wars. Like that's your whole thing. Oh no, war is totally fine. Just kill everybody you see. Call of Duty 2025. I think Raul Menendez was on to something. Absurd materialism, ego, Los Angeles. I had to play that next before 2025 is out. I'll do a let's play of that. That'll be fun. That and Black Ops 3, because I got some shit to say about Black Ops 3 that I've never heard anybody say. I'll do Black Ops 3 first, because I want to see it more than Black Ops 2. Has been about 10 years as of recording since that came out, and these might come out late just because of Christmas and whatever. These are totally out of order, so I tend to just do a bunch of recordings when I need to get some content out. So I do like a bunch of gaming in one sitting, sometimes a few sittings, sometimes a few days. Drink soda, have fun, and then get subscribers. Sounds fucking awesome to me. That's the way it was in 2011 when I used to watch a lot of Let's Play channels who eventually got into Minecraft, and it's the way I like it. Nowadays, there seems to be some weird subgenre of it where people just have unrelated gameplay of Call of Duty in the background while they talk about how they can't get sex or they can't get a job. Well, can't blame you, but looks ain't everything. Or you can find any girl down at the crack house. Go to church, you'll find some women there. Just don't be a dick. Unless they happen to like people who are just dicks. In that case, well, yeah, be a dick. But, it's gonna change. Anyway, oh, I love the lens, the effects in here. Is the really good dust and God rays. That's one thing I miss with the LucasArts era Star Wars games was they had really fucking good dust and God ray effects, and they were simple, but like this shit stands out to me more than anything in the EA games. Outside of the 2015 Battlefront, which is like the only good looking one, the rest look like fucking paper mache or trash. It's because the first game actually used real life photo reference and shit, and went out to these places to physically and authentically model and texture the shit. And it shows. There's effort that was put into that game in the visual department, but that's the only part that they put any effort into. Whole thing is a fucking cardboard cutout. Could have been so much nicer though. If just add the graphics of that game to this and I'd be happy. Then add like 20, 30 maps and I would get everybody and their dog to pay for that game over and over and over. You could do DLC maps till the end of time and I would play the shit out of it. It worked well enough for Destiny. It worked well enough for Left 4 Dead. Or Payday 2, Black Ops 3. Don't worry, if you make me a deal, I'll chow down, But if you're gonna shovel shit in my mouth, I'm gonna say no. My standards are very, very simple. The thing works, it's fun, it's good, I like it. If I don't like what you make, you don't get paid for it. And I don't tend to judge what a company's reputation is, unless what they're doing is clearly for stupid reasons, like Microsoft or Activision with Call of Duty. And Black Ops 7, the whole thing is just fucking stupid. You did that whole game better with Black Ops 3. That actually had some merit to it because it was warning about the shitty technological dystopian state we would be living in, thanks to Windows 10 updates. Like, if Windows went wild and Microsoft had influence over the government, that's probably what the world would look like in Black Ops 3. Why do they buy so much sand, and why do they take a lot of fucking ownership of Alaska? Why the fuck not? You think Bill Gates was only there to fucking fix computers? No, he was there to make the world his bitch. He owns most of your food. Why do you think that costs so much? Exactly. How do you control people and make everything into a shitty communist state? Take their food. They'll start listening real quick. Oh, this looks really cool. I like that reactor. Shit, is there a guy shooting me? No, good. See, as soon as I start trailing off and saying about how I like details and shit, I usually get shot, so that's why I'm just, like, fucking... See? Damn stairs. Stairs are my weakness. Not because I can't get up them, but because when I do get up them, I always get shot. Fuck the stairs, I'm taking the ladder. Yeah, fuck the ladder too, I'm just falling. I'll just jump. We have a rebel. No, we don't. He's dead. We have one unlucky piece of shit who spawned back here with his bowcaster up. And that stormtrooper stuck it up his ass and then disappeared. He became one with the Force and forcefully shoved the Chewbacca up his asshole. There was no Wookiee in the Empire, but he certainly put up a good case for that. Yeah, see about crotch riding. There you go. Ass riding. See, I wish I was making this shit up, but no. When the game bugs out, it really bugs out and does weird shit where they start humping each other because their legs aren't working correctly. So they just float around like a Force ghost. Double whammied. Wombo combo. That's the way you have to do it with bots, is grenade, then the flashbang. Or use a thermal detonator, then a flashbang. With players, it's flashbang, then frag. Or actually, no, I think it's the same way. Usually what you want to do is you want to stack the shit to do the wombo combo. Let's see if I can get to this hangar. There's a tank in here. I like these tanks. I didn't know the rebels had fucking diesel-plated looking armored fucking tanks. But hey, you know, if one dude's friend back in, I don't know, 2010 can make maps for this game, then I guess anybody can, right? Modders, definitely get on this shit. Get on this shit before I start going off about how Bill Gates owns your fucking Lunchables. Anyway. What was I talking about? Yeah, probably existential society shit with Call of Duty. Yeah, anyway, so there's a subgenre of people who tend to do that. Usually I try not to trail off about it, but, you know. Windows makes me a little upset, same way it does with anyone, so, you know, shit happens sometimes. But, I don't tend to use the shit for that. I say as I did that, but mostly what's of interest to me is, the culture from back then. People actually had seemingly working brains and were kind of funny and weren't afraid to say offensive shit that wasn't always correct. Like, if you get so obsessed with making sure that everything and everyone is 100% accurate, you rob it of its individuality and its agency. You rob it of the fun. Sometimes the fun in things is not them being 100% accurate or fun in the sense of objectivity. Because if you want everything to be fucking objective, go to Wikipedia. It's ran by the CIA. They'll give you the objective truth of whatever the fuck you want. Because they're the government, and if you disagree with that, you'll have to go to war. Which might be a little costly, so probably don't want to do that. But the fun thing I liked is, you know, little typos or things, you know, just shitty issues with the presentation, Windows Movie Maker fonts not adding up right, you know, colors being not correct. People would do some elaborate shit. It's why I actually still have Windows Movie Maker 7, and I use it from time to time. Or not Windows Movie Maker 7, Windows Movie Maker 6, from Windows 7. I'm also just exploring this map because it looks really cool. Oh yeah, they're mapping out how TIE fighters work too. It's a trap. Told you. Admiral Akbar. It's a trap. Oh, good thing that was a friend. No, anyway. I like a lot of that stuff because it's most of the effects and things in Windows Movie Maker were just really fun, very flashy. They're smooth transitions. You know, anybody could make Disney XD or fucking Disney Channel styled animations at their house with a really good and fun looking computer that just has a nice looking layout. And, you know, the operating system looking good is something that I think a lot of people just tend to take for granted. Now that said, I don't think we should stick to, like, Windows 7 forever. I don't think that's going to help anyone. I think that's just going to make people lazy and just, you know, a circle jerk until we go back to fucking stones and rocks and gears from World War II. Because, oh, you know, older computer is better, so therefore I'm going to use World War II computers that are powered mechanically by fucking gears and oil. So therefore, I have the best taste in computers. It's the same way that Filthy Frank joked about how, oh, older music is always better, so I'm going to listen to the oldest music of cavemen banging on sticks and rocks. And then, you know, the mating call where they give a cave woman a good pounding. So, yeah, no thanks. I'm going to have to decline saying older is always better when it just fucking isn't. I would not trade newer games, and they're often very minimal or lacking input lag for anything, if I could. The Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3 are fun consoles, but that input lag is fucking awful. It it compounded with terrible controls is often what stops me from playing a lot of PlayStation and original Xbox games from before the 360. The controls and the graphics are just awful. Outside of the Wii, where the controls are still bad, but clearly they learned a thing or two and tried to stylize it a little better. Like the PS2 near the end of its lifespan and the Xbox near the end of its lifespan with these sort of proto army Xbox 360 things by the end where they figured out a thing or two about controls but still never quite understood them like the Xbox 360 or Quake keyboard and mouse stuff did in the 90s. Yeah, it's the controls of PlayStation 2 games, the shitty graphics, and there being about like 7 pixels on a screen for most of them is what stops me from getting into them. If I can't fucking see or control the game, I'm not gonna play it. Don't get me started on the PlayStation 1. You don't even have enough pixels on that shit. Like at least with Mario Brothers or the NES or pixel art stuff, well, it doesn't need to be complicated because it's just a simple game where you go left to right. So you only have like you have very few directions to worry about. Meanwhile, Mario 64 or something has totally I don't know how the fuck I managed to beat that as a kid because that has totally been ruined for me because the controls with the camera that locks to positions is just horrible. It feels awful to play. Is this gonna hit him? Oh yeah. They're gonna hit me too if I don't get out of the way. Oh shit. Nope, that's a friend. Okay. But yeah, like PlayStation 2 games, I can't fucking get into. They look like shit. They fucking play awful. The first Killzone and a lot of the later ones, like Black, they look okay. Or some of the later ones from like EA or Criterion or Activision, just once they kind of understood what technology they were dealing with, they got it a lot better. But the Xbox 360 consistently got it good throughout the entire thing, visually, and most games on a technical level were really good. There were a few screw-ups, obviously, but it wasn't like we have today where every other game is just launched totally fucking broken with no guarantee that they'll ever fix it. And then, like, what is a person left to speculate as to the reasons why? Oh, what's the common thing that constantly keeps popping up? Devil worship, LGBT stuff. It's not that that's a problem. It's that you're using it as a scapegoat to do bad things to people who don't want that to happen. That's the problem, Microsoft. You're throwing innocent people under the bus either way. You're using literal minorities and people who are not of, the typical sexual routine of most people. And you're using them as a bullet shield to go and say that this horrible thing you're doing is okay, and ultimately creating a lot of real-world political violence, and that's just horrible. Why can't we all just get along? Get along, play a game. I'll play your game, you play mine. We'll all be happy. Simple as that, right? 'Cause we all want what's best for each other. Nobody actively goes out of their way to do that. Or at least if they do so because they've been conditioned to think that's okay by the internet where you separate shit with a screen. They've been conditioned because there's no consequence for that shit for about 10, 15 years that it's okay to do that. Now, there's still no consequence for a lot of that shit because, oh, well, this person says they're that way or they're whatever. And therefore they're excused from it. That doesn't happen to everybody, but it happens to a lot of them. Usually, though, you tend to see the trend. But the problem is mostly that the people who, get in trouble for this stuff is like, they said something that somebody didn't like or whatever because they thought they were being pointed out. It's not about getting at you. It's just an observation. Observation is not insult. Observation is not an argument. That's pointing out something that has happened and making a remark about it, or just saying what has happened. The screwy thing is where people get thrown under the bus. Doesn't matter who they are. Like that, I get fucking one-shotted by bot one. This bowcaster, he threw me under the bus because I was talking about the PlayStation 2 and other shit that I've noticed. Don't notice these things. Otherwise, you're a culture warrior. Oh no. No, I'm not. I play Call of Duty. I ain't fighting for anybody. It's a video game. It's a video game I'm not particularly good at. I shoot people in cave and get shot. Hey, we go shoot people in cave, Nikolai. So, this is what it is. And they shit in the cave. The rebels are in their troll cave. I wonder if Admiral Akbar's in there. I'm gonna go find out. Oh shit. I think the PlayStation 2 style, though, that tends to work out better when it's like on the iPads and the mobile games, because there's an actual performance benefit to it there. Plus, it makes sense. Like Gameloft, most of their games didn't look like they were too far away from something I would play on the Wii or the PlayStation 2. So I could accept that because I had the ability to take it with me anywhere, but it wasn't preferable. Like, I would rather have really good graphics anywhere I go, as well as a really fun game, because people make it seem like you can't have both. You totally can. I'm literally living proof of that, that one person can make the shit work, and you don't need a budget, you don't need anything other than just a little bit of time. I've got like 40 maps in a year. Actually, 35 maps in about 9 months. And that's because I was smart. I wasn't working hard, I was working smart. And I'm not saying with fucking smart technology, because that shit's smart-ass technology. You want to sell me a light bulb? You want to be smart about it? Don't put a fucking Wi-Fi adapter in my light bulb and I'll buy it. That's smart. What's smart is being able to press a button and a thing instantaneously works without question, judgment, or internet connection. Why does the FBI need to know when I turn off a light? Why do all these data companies need to spy on my light bulbs? I don't know. But I don't want to find out. It's probably nothing good. Plus, if the internet's connected to the light bulb, who's to say they don't do some planned obsolescence shit? They totally will. Now, if you want to make a video game, get Unreal Engine 4. Get a free template pack, and then get a bunch of free assets they have on the marketplace and start fucking building. Build something like Call of Duty. Because when you realize that Call of Duty can just constantly reuse its shit, and that's why it gets made in like a year every time, you realize just how simple it is. It's a game where you walk, shoot, and pick a class. Halo is even simpler. You only walk and you shoot, and you pick up guns that are on the map. So my idea was like, okay, I don't want to fuck around with loadouts because I think that's a little boring, and honestly, I'm kind of sick and tired of it at this point because the fun isn't even fun. It's not just you pick up the gun and you start shooting like Halo. No, it's you pick up the gun after you spend 17 hours trying to min-max the amount of fun you can have by making a gun that only deals the most amount of damage to the most amount of people with the least recoil and the most ammo. It's not fun to go around playing a video game with God mode and infinite lasers, as every fucking Call of Duty does, basically. It's fun occasionally, but it's not fun for every fucking game, and it's not substantive enough. It's like eating McDonald's every day. You're gonna get fat real fucking quick and die. Though, if you have it once in a while, it's pretty good. So everything in moderation, basically. Black and games like Midnight Club or a lot of later PlayStation 2 and Xbox original games got the gist of good controls way too late and decent graphics way too late. But when they did okay. Like Killzone. Killzone 1 plays horrible on the PlayStation 2, but the backwards compatible PlayStation 3 version they released in the deluxe edition of Killzone, like the trilogy you could get at GameStop with all 3 games, that one plays well because the hardware actually improved the frame rate and a lot of the other issues it had. So wouldn't you know it, better hardware and technology makes your game look and play better. Crazy thought, right? The way I see it, every game basically stopped any form of innovation after 2017. 2018 it was a little mixed. 2019 is where you really started to see the marshmallow, ugly Stay Puft Marshmallow Man syndrome that a lot of characters have, where they look really puffy, really waxy, and look like plastic, but they also look fat. Now it's like some weird, uncanny 2010s realistic Mario. If you've seen that meme picture in the 2010s, it's like if they drew Mario in a realistic style where he has big pimples on his face and way too much facial hair. It just looks fucking creepy. Or it looks weird as hell. Or like realistic Lego people who have two fingers and they look super meshed and disgusting. Removing the cartoon style in that regard really makes it worse, but that doesn't apply to everything. And people tend to get very caught up in extremes and lose any nuance, and a lot of companies like that because it keeps people ignorant, scared, and divided. So that's kind of the thing that I find I can have an opportunity to go ahead and address with a game of my own when I make Rogue Planet 2, right? I can just make a game that's consistent, fun, good, and simple. And you just play it. And the game is, you own your copy of the fucking game. You could do what the hell you want with it. I don't care. Like, the only thing I care about is you paid me for the copy of the game. You go do what you want with it. Just as long as you ain't pirating it. Or, don't share too many copies with your friends, because old Daddy Spades needs to actually feed himself and his two puppies, so can't do that if everybody's stealing the fucking game. If you do a good job, though, I will pay you. That's the thing. And CD games like I got here from a thrift store. I got this Call of Duty on a disc at a thrift store for like $3. If it's something like that, that's totally fine. Because I own the thing, I can play it, I can do what I want with it. First sale doctrine applies to physical goods, and unfortunately, since there's no protection with digital ones, or at least not very many, you're shit out of luck. And nobody cares to do anything because they got about 99 other problems they got to deal with. So I think digital ownership of your movies is like the last thing on their minds because it's not required to live. Food, water, electricity, air quality, public transportation, having the ability to get out of bed in the morning, healthcare. I think these are more important things to worry about. City infrastructure, plumbing. I could think of 500 other things that are way more important to worry about than video games and owning them. You can always stop playing a video game, whether you tell yourself that or not. It's not required for you to function. So no lawmaker ever takes it seriously, because they know. They seem to actually use their brains in that regard, where a lot of people who are clearly younger don't. Treating video games like they're special, and you can only have this one kind of thing, totally fucks up your perception and your enjoyment of entertainment. I used to do it with Halo and the Xbox One. I used to do it with the PlayStation 4. There are still some things I hate about it, the lack of features, forced online play, all that stuff. But once it got cheaper and stopped being as bad, it finally got complete, because my problem was mostly this shit doesn't work, it's not finished, and I don't want to fucking wait. But I was a little patient, I gave it some time, went back to the Xbox 360, went and played some other games I didn't. I don't have a lot of nostalgia for the Xbox 360, aside from, I don't know, maybe 10 or 15 games I grew up with as a kid, or the Wii. Same deal. There are a few games like Modern Warfare 3, grew up with that as a kid, I have nostalgia for it. First Modern Warfare, never played it as a kid, never saw it. Second one, no nostalgia whatsoever, never played it. Halo Reach and ODST are the only Halo games I played as a kid or watched my dad play or something, so it's like, yeah, I was there roughly. But going back and playing the rest of it has kind of been an eye-opening experience that's really let me in on a lot of things that new games tend not to do very well. But it's also given me some very good notes as to where I should go right with my own game, because they did get some things wrong, like Halo. I think the biggest thing it fucked up, especially with Halo Reach, was ammo. Ammo and damage. And I get on higher difficulties. You should have a challenge, but it kind of becomes a little artificial when by the end of Halo Reach with the Survive mission, you're scripted to die anyway. So, okay, I get it. You were never meant to live in that one. totally understand. But the difficulty of that, the weapons they start you with, and then there's like a few busted up human weapons on the ground, and then eventually they just start sending in dudes with swords and grenade launchers. It's kind of like you get grenade spammed, and your shield doesn't have enough time to ever recharge. So you get killed way too quickly, way too fast, and you can never exactly specifically tell when a checkpoint hits. It's just some impulsive fear. Like, you'll never know when you're actually in an area that can successfully save a checkpoint, and that seems to be totally inconsistent. Especially on Legendary. Like, if you're playing Legendary like I am, on Halo fucking 2, the biggest problem was not getting one-shotted. That I could understand. Even if the timing was horrible, I could at least adapt to that. The problem was the checkpoints. And the Halo's Legendary, people will say, oh, it was just 2 that was broken. Uh, fuck no. It was like 1, 2, and 3. ODST sort of tuned it to be a little bit better. And Halo Reach was when they finally got it really good. Which is why nobody talks about Halo Reach as Legendary, because it's actually really fucking awesome. And the AI in that shit. If you're scared of AI, well, trust me, in 2010, the NPC AI for that shit, even the grunts, was... oh boy, that shit was really fucking impressive. I am shocked that nobody ever talks about the AI for Halo Reach as Legendary. It is something really, really cool. But anyway, I went off a tangent there, but it's things like the world, the environment, the AI, their behavior, the difficulty, the way guns work, the timing of them, the sounds. They didn't care if things looked or sounded harsh. In fact, that's kind of what made them fun. You're given this power fantasy or the illusion of danger. You know, it's an action movie. It's not real. Just have fun. You know, that they didn't care about explaining a billion things. Often the story of Gears of War was just a monster appears around a corner, then here's another one, and so on and so forth, with bigger and bigger and bigger monsters and more of them until they eventually recycle 1 or 2 of them near the end. And then you have a final boss with a huge monster that could destroy the planet but never does or something. You know, it's oh yay, the good guys won. That's fine. You can have that, and not having that, I think, has done irreparable harm to a lot of casual play on these new consoles. It has done a lot of irreparable harm for people who don't know about all of this obscenely obscure trivia and gatekept it from a lot of just newcomers. Doesn't matter who you are. It's like, if you can't get into this shit, pick up and play it. But you can on an older console in about 30 seconds. Who cares? Even if they had loading screens on those old consoles, you could get into a game faster than you could on a new console, because in a new console they'll shove 5-minute ads down your throat, try to get you to buy 7 things. Destiny 2 literally has more fucking pop-ups than actual malware. So, yeah, more pop-ups than most piracy websites. So, no, I'm not going to play Destiny 2. I ain't even gonna fucking play the first one no more, because I don't own that shit, even on the PlayStation 3. You know, having a guarantee that my thing works is what gives me confidence in purchasing it. Not that you can randomly come to my house, take a 12-gauge shotgun, and fucking shoot it. You know, that doesn't inspire me with any form of confidence, and if you want to do that... You know, the old CEO of PlayStation, before he got fired, said that none of this shit is worthwhile. He said it's all fucking worthless. Why would anybody want to play these? He looks back at the PlayStation 1, 2, and 3 and thinks they're worthless trash, you know? You know, one man's trash is another man's treasure, but it does tell me a lot about why PlayStation 4 was never hooking me. You know, you might have all of the shit there on a technical level, but if you don't have your heart in it, you're the problem. The guy, Jim Ryan, before Jim Ryan got fired, that guy had more passion. That guy cared. I didn't exactly like that he was just copying the Xbox 360, but with better graphics. Because the PlayStation 3 had its own unique identity. That thing was very clearly a supercomputer with alien and shit and Spider-Man and creepy babies. Not to mention just all kinds of, you know, free online games that were pushing sound and technology and other shit in other ways that Xbox wasn't. They went far in with customization and multimedia stuff where Xbox was lagging behind. You could use Linux on your fucking PlayStation 3 and turn it into a supercomputer. The Air Force actually did that. You could buy Air Force surplus PlayStation 3 computers who had an old ass firmware on. I've seen YouTube videos of that shit. Super fascinating. And when Microsoft toned down the utility of the Xbox One until it's basically a giant fucking paperweight brick, it doesn't inspire much confidence. They released offline support. You could stay offline, and that's good, but I would rather the thing just work all the time, like the Xbox 360 did. Let me choose if I want to fucking update or not. Let me make an offline account. If I have to go online, it should be because a game requires it, or there's some actual fucking issue with my console, or like Sony is gonna get fucking hacked or something again, right? You need to go online to do the security patch, otherwise North Korea is gonna hijack your fucking PlayStation or your Xbox. Since the Xbox One has a terrible reputation, I actually can recommend buying it because it's like fucking dirt cheap. And since the games are like, oh, well, it's not 1080p at 60 FPS, it's only 900p. You look at the shit side by side, and you see the differences are just so minimal that it's like, yeah, go buy a fucking Xbox One because it's $40, and every Xbox One game is like $2, $3, $4. The most I've ever paid for an Xbox One game was $20. I'm not kidding. It's kind of incredible how cheap that console is. And if Xbox One was like that, where it's just like, okay, what makes us special? We got value, man. Every game is like two, three, four, $5. Then I could understand microtransactions being in every fucking game, because okay, you're undercutting the cost to compete with Sony. You want to make the online shit really enticing to people. You want to make it like $5 for every fucking game. Sold. You got me. In that case, I would be more comfortable paying with, I wouldn't want to pay for online, but I would be paying for games and DLC if they were like, really cheap and anybody could get into them. Plus, the Xbox One is really durable. That's another thing. It's like the controllers are good, the console itself's fucking good. Really well made console. It's just the software on it is terrible. Like the UI is sluggish, really laggy. The best way to use it is to just go online once, put about 7 accounts on there, then go offline, play your games offline from the disc. Maybe only go online if you need to update it or something. Like update a game or download it from the internet. That's about it. Just make sure you don't download updates. You might have to put like a VPN on your thing or whatever, but fuck if I know. Shit, I went on a big tangent there, didn't I? Yeah, I guess that'll do it for this part. Later.